chat. So everybody can hang
Blast
out.
off.
Blast off into
That
space.
timing was appropriate.
Oh yeah, I mean, Walter, I totally understand. I mean, I don't understand because my family is not going through that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't even matter if I truly understand. I empathize with it.
No,
Like
yeah.
I can value the fact that your family is being terrorized right now.
Yeah, this is
Even if they're not directly being targeted, you're still being terrorized by this fucking awful regime of people who suck.
Yeah, and the
And who
context
killed a
is,
woman yesterday.
Yeah,
and murdered a woman in cold blood.
Yep, and we're like an hour and a half away from that, and it's just in this community that's just everybody's just on edge. I'm really worried about my wife today. My wife's an immigrant, and she's at work right now. I guess I don't want to do too many details, but I mean, I'm just like today. All I want is for my wife to come home. I kept my kids home from school today because I didn't know what might happen. And I'm just like, don't want to be sitting here worried. I couldn't get anything done if I'm worried about if my kids are going to survive. Are they going to be returned to me today? This is the kind of bullshit we have to deal with. I don't know if our kids are coming home or our loved ones. It's fucking,
That's so
and
scary,
it's terrorism.
man.
Yeah, it's fucking terrorism.
It's kind of like, what happened to the control that we're supposed to have over the type of life we want to live, right?
Yeah.
As not just individuals, but as communities, as a country, as a people who are supposed to have this shared belief in the rule of law that we all grew up with. I mean, everybody that is doing all this, pardon my language, everybody, shit now, I know they took the same civics class that I took.
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, this is like what happened to basic, like, this is the Constitution. This is what our forefathers fought the British for. This is why we got into World War I and World War II, was to be anti-fascist, was to fight the Germans and fight the Japanese oppression in East Asia. And like, and then it wasn't until late in the war when they realized what the Germans were actually doing to the people and to the Jewish people all over Europe.
Yeah.
And then like, why is this even acceptable?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, as a Jewish American, as an Italian Jewish American, like, this is like so beyond reproach, and it has nothing to do with the fact that I'm a physician and I'm a male. This is about, and I know, Nick, we talked about this. Like, this is about, we wanted to start the show where everybody could kind of have their, so I'm kind of hijacking as part of the show.
No,
it's good.
Walter started with his,
Yeah.
it was sort of going to, it's going naturally too.
I woke up this morning really heavy.
Yeah.
And I woke up this morning and that's why I don't know if anybody saw the post I put up. It was with the scene from Animal House. Like, what's this lying around shit?
Yeah.
Like, if there was any time to like channel John Belushi, like, it was like kind of like, what are we supposed to do, you moron? Like, like, and it wasn't over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor, by the way. So, but it's just like, enough lying around, enough. We need if our leaders, and I put it in the post, if our leaders are not going to be serious about being leaders, then resign, get out. Yeah. Just do us all a favor now and get out, because guess what happens when Congress doesn't have a quorum? Anybody know what happens with that?
No, tell us.
With the rules of the House?
No,
if the House doesn't have a quorum, they can't conduct regular business, and then you have to have the speaker has to call for special elections in every district.
Yeah, shit.
That would be good. Retire. If you're a Republican and you don't like this shit, retire. Right.
Just get out of the game.
If you're a Democrat and you don't want to fight for anything and you just want money and you already have your lifetime pension, get the fuck out. Just leave right now. Yeah. If all of you were to quit, except for the fascists who then can't do anything, we could elect people tomorrow. Like, next fucking week, we could have elections. This is what I'm saying. Like, Eric, thank you for bringing that up. I didn't even know that. I forgot all about that. Like, I've been saying we need to demand special elections in some way. And if there's a constitutional way to do it, which is get the fuck out of office and just leave, that would be the most civic responsible thing you could do as a politician right now. If you don't want to fight, leave. All of you, all at once, mass resignation, because then under quorum, I think, is under half of
Right.
numbers. Like
there's a 2-seat majority right now. That's it.
We could see half of and
That's
Republicans
what 218
anyway. Like, yeah, all we just need to do is pressure these people to retire immediately.
Yeah.
Call them.
I mean, don't forget Marjorie Taylor Greene's seat's open. Another Republican GOP congressman passed away over the weekend.
Yes.
Right.
Saw that. Yep.
So that's it. I mean, it's 216. It's 216 to what? 213.
And Massey's not voting with him anymore. Massey's not
Right.
voting with the Republicans that I've seen after the Epstein thing. So
Yeah, and then he was pissed about Venezuela too.
Yep.
He's a big like no foreign intervention guy and everything. I think we've all been beaten down so much over the last 10 years. It's frustrating to see like everybody's just waiting for somebody else to do it. You know what I mean? Everybody's waiting for somebody to pick up the sword first and go after it. And I think there's this collective like, fuck, are we all going to do it yet? Are we all going to do it? And I think one of the things that regular people can start with is not just reacting to ICE if you see them. Like yesterday, those are great things. And I think that the next step, like those are great things that they're doing as far as like blowing the whistles and trying to block the ICE agents and stuff like that. I think it needs to be like on a community level right now. Like if you see those people starting to come into your, set up a fucking blockade in your community or in your neighborhood. You know what I mean? Park cars at every exit you possibly can and stuff. I think that there just needs to be like practical next steps that kind of give us that push to go to the next level. But because yesterday was just fucking heartbreaking, man. It was so tough to watch. And the worst part about it, I mean, we're so desensitized to violence. I think the worst part about it was the reaction and the neighbors being out there and the videos and the interviews and stuff. It was so tough to see the PTSD that people are going to have over those assholes coming into their community and killing one of their own. You know what I mean? I just think that one of the small things that we can do right now is if you find out that ICE is going to be in your area, get fucking parking cones or something, get something, set up a blockade and protect your neighborhood, park your cars at the ends of the streets and create blockades and stuff. Don't let
Imagine if they started booting their vehicles. Just put those yellow boots on their vehicle.
Dude, that's
right.
Anything.
Yeah,
you know
do small acts of like peaceful, slightly chaotic.
And then when they need their car,
resistance.
say, sorry, it's going to be $200.
And those people taking videos, man, they are heroes. Those people that, because there was like 3 or 4 videos. So now and I think that was you, Nick, who broke that they were trying to spread an altered version of the video.
Oh,
but now
yeah,
we live in
Zev
this
Shalev
area.
and I were talking
That
about
was
that
great.
yesterday.
You guys were great last night, by the way.
Thank you.
That was,
and everybody,
that was,
but there's so many videos now that's just so the more people out there taking videos of these things, stand around, just you see ICE, you take out your phone, you start filming that. Because they can't alter all the videos. And once that gets online, I mean, they lose track of it. So those people were heroic and they were very brave. So I really appreciate that.
That was a big part of it too.
Yes.
Is those videos came out right away, and those videos came out before Kristi Noem and them got the chance to do those press conferences and try to spin the narrative as like
they're ahead of the propaganda.
Would she say she was a domestic terrorist and everything?
Yeah, like that's fucking horseshit. They do that too. Is they're trying to co-opt these words. They're trying to make domestic terrorists meaningless, so that when it finally happens, when a real terror event from someone in the community, like a white person going and shooting up a huge building or blowing something up, because it's white people who cause the most political violence and most violence in this country. Like we have to be okay admitting that. White people, specifically white men, are the predominant violent criminals, offenders. Year after year after year after year, every year that they have collected the data, white men have been the leading violent criminals. White men make the most violent crimes.
Child rapists too.
Are child rapists. White men are more likely to be abusers. If you're married to a white man, if he's going to murder someone, it will be his spouse.
Yeah,
that's how it goes. Like family destruction, mostly white men. You want to see, like, we project it onto other communities, like the stereotype that black men need fathers and that all black dads are just thugs and gangsters and leaving their and baby daddies who just leave and never take care of their kids. Well, fuck that narrative. More white men have divorces and more white men abandon their children than black men ever have. Black men take care of their kids. Black men teach their children. Black men are good fathers because they've had to be by our society. They have been demanded to be the best versions of themselves, or they're seen as a failure. We hold everyone in this country to such a ridiculously high standard, except white men. And then following behind white women. But I'm not going to talk about women because that's not my issue. I'm not a white woman. I'm a white man, and we're the worst of the worst right now. And
data doesn't lie, though, Nick.
No, it doesn't.
Data
it
never
can be manipulated, but
we
it doesn't
ignore
lie.
it, and that's the thing that's hard. Getting people to wake up and see the truth, and then you hit that cognitive dissonance where people are just like, duh. But then again, white men own all the media too, so they control all the narratives. They're all the people, and they're all the CEOs. They're overrepresented in the government. White people are overrepresented in public education too, and I mean that's a problem. I mean, I support public education. They're wonderful educators out there. We need more diversity in education. We need more. You know, white men are overrepresented among lawyers, so they're overrepresented among judges. So they're everything that is wrong. They have all the power.
It's across the board in most. I'm going to say most professional occupations. It's really, I mean, even in medicine, you know, not so much starting to decline now because it's you're seeing the change but it's, you know, I don't know. I think the more important question that we really need to be asking is Evan, how are you doing?
How am I? I'm doing good. I'm hanging in there. You know what I mean?
Since we left you last, ...
Yeah.
I'm still alive.
Yeah.
I'm back here and I showed up. You know, things are just, I don't know, kind of stagnant, I guess. But
stagnant's okay.
Yeah, it's boring, I guess. Boring right now. And boring is a good thing because boring allows me to have the space to sit with myself. And I've really been focusing on writing, just writing. First,
which
it was
which has been amazing, by the way. What you're putting out is great content.
I appreciate you. I'm trying. You know, and a lot of it is, all of my good writing always comes from a place when I have a lot of emotion to share, a lot of things going on and everything, because it pours out on the page, and that's always a good, honest place to start from. And I think people relate to that, you know what I mean? And it's just like when we had the first one of these shows, the response that I'm sure all of us got was just like heartwarming and hey, we want to see you guys do this and we want to see you guys succeed. And you know, it feels good to have support and everything, and it feels good to have another group of guys that recognizes that we have a privilege to be in this space, and we have a privilege to, especially as white dudes, because I think about it all the time. I wouldn't be in this position if I wasn't a white male that had the advantages in life and everything. But it's good to have another group of guys that recognizes all this shit, and it makes you feel like you've got a home, you know what I mean? And I think that that's what a lot of guys need right now is a home.
What do we title the show again? I forgot.
The Bro Show, right?
Right now it's a Bro Show, but we're working on the title, I think.
It's a working title.
Yeah, it's a working title.
I think that's what men need right now. You know what I mean? I think that they need a space where we can recognize that there is white privilege and white guys are fucking lazy, dude. Yeah. It's a laziness that has infected us because of privilege, and it's mixed with that cognitive dissonance that like the ignorant guys are like, no, that can't be true. And it's like, no, it is. And that's why we have policies like DEI to fix these things, because like Walter said it, I know I'm rambling, but like Walter said that white lawyers, white people are overrepresented in the legal profession.
Yeah.
And the reason that you need DEI and professions like that is because Black people have their own culture.
Yeah.
And the reason that they have their own culture is because they were stolen from their history and their lineage and everything. And white people can't go into a situation going up against the legal system where they don't know the intricacies of that culture and the way that Black people deal with the law. So you need DEI in place to where you have more opportunities for Black people to become lawyers, because they're going to represent their clients better and it makes society better as a whole. And that's not saying that we can't have white lawyers and white lawyers can't be great. It's just saying that we recognize there's another pocket of society that matters just as much. And I think that you guys providing that space to say shit like that really matters.
Excellent, Evan. And I was just going to say that one perspective only gives you a two-dimensional view. You know, if I look at my car from the front, if I only ever see it from the front, and it's just like, well, what about the back door? Your guy's like, I don't even think that exists. You know, you need people on all sides of an object, and that's the different viewpoints of our reality. You know, and I learned this from my wife all the time. She's the one who has educated me that even when I'm empathetic to this, I don't know what this world is like from the viewpoint of a immigrant Latina woman. I do my best to understand that. I'll never fully understand it. And there's times when she has to correct me, and we have to be open to hearing that too. And to just exclude those other viewpoints, it limits us. There's that old story about the blind man touching the elephant, and one thinks he touches the hide and thinks it's like leather, and one touches the tail and thinks it's a rope, and one touches the tusk and thinks it's just the smooth ivory surface. And that's our reality. If we just limit to one viewpoint all the time, we just are not equipped to handle the challenges of our reality then.
Yeah, we have to challenge ourselves. And I just came from a show right before this with Shane Urich. I'm doing a full series. Like all three of the gentlemen here are going to be on my series and interviewed soon for the intelligent masculinity stuff. And it's all about like self-reflection and being willing to grow and learn. And Shane said something really cool. Was one of the things that hit me was when he said he learned to check his ego and go and accept that he was flawed. And it took me a while to get to the point too, where I checked my own ego and left it at the door and said, I don't need this. I don't need this because I can do it without. I'm just as good. I'm just as smart. I'm just as caring and kind without having the ego behind it. And you get so much better response in life. And I think, Evan, you're doing a lot to like care for yourself and value yourself and reflect on this situation. And you've reached out to us. You've reached out to friends. You're not isolating yourself. Yeah. You're taking care of your emotions and remembering that you are important in this conversation, and that you have to also be healthy and be able to move forward. And I'm proud that you're doing that. I'm proud as a friend
a lot better.
that you're doing
you seem a lot better than last time, Evan. You look, I just get that sense from you.
Yeah. And I feel it, man. And that's all a testament to you guys. It's a testament to other people. You know what I mean? And I know, like, I do the work and like all that stuff, but you have to have that motivation, or else, it's really fucking hard to motivate yourself.
This is the conversation. I'm glad that we got to this point, and I think the lesson for each of us, but all of us collectively as a community. And I mean community, like as a people of this world, like it does. We all bleed the same color. Like I don't care what color your skin is. You're bleeding red if you get cut, just like I do. Mm-hmm. We all have the same amount of liters per blood per body. We all have the same number of cardiac cells. We all have the same number of blood vessels here and there. Minus 10%, whatever. But we all have the same number of bones. We are more alike than we are different. And I think we lose sight of why we're put on this planet. It's much easier. I forgot who the author was that said it's much easier to destroy than to create. And I forgot who wrote that line. Walter, you know who wrote that line? You being the
I don't
consummate
know.
writer of the
I don't
group.
know where it comes
No.
from. Yeah, I guess that
I think it was a
might be
Star Trek,
underattributed.
wasn't
Yeah,
it?
maybe.
Was that
But it
Star
is
Trek?
pretty true.
Was that Star Trek 5? Or no, that was Wrath of Khan, wasn't it? It was easier to destroy than create. Was that Leonard Nimoy that said that?
It's possible. I can't
Right.
recall.
Anyway, the great Leonard Nimoy, may he rest in peace. But I think by creating our little foursome here, and then Nick's expanding our group out and extending this topic, this untouched topic that Evan really started by, going into a spiral of wallowness that we had to bring him out of, which we are happy to do. And I think that's really when it comes down to, like, we keep it always circles back to mental health. It always comes back to the mental health conversation. Just throwing a lifeline to somebody to say, I'm here for you. Here, how can I reach out to you? I am here to talk to you. Like that, just that act of kindness. And it can be a completely random act. You don't need anything from it. I'm not asking you to pay me for it or buy me lunch, buy me coffee, whatever. I don't need that. I need to understand that you're in a better place from before I reached out to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're in a better place 10 minutes later, I've done my job as a human.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I put this out too, that this administration, or the regime as everybody likes to call it now, right?
Yeah.
Lacks compassion, lacks empathy, lacks a fucking care for any citizen or resident or person inside the borders of this country. There is not one in every tragedy death that's occurred in the previous administration or this one. Okay.
Yeah. There's never
of the same Trump administration, whether it's Trump 1 or Trump 2. It's the same line. It's never, we're so sorry for the loss of life. We are, even when it happened in North Carolina last year, with the hurricane, right? It never, it's not, we're sorry that we're not funding FEMA. We're not sorry that we're not getting services and helping people rebuild their lives. We're not sorry for, laying off 400,000 federal workers and then firing them unceremoniously. We're not sorry for putting our military at risk. We're not sorry for, creating situations where we're scaring citizens and having masked federal officers, if they truly even are federal officers.
Yes, that's an important point.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Policing, like lawlessly, going through American cities. Okay. This is going to be a real interesting test to see what happens when he wants to institute martial law with the size of the country that we have. Good luck. Good luck with that one, right? With 400 million weapons in the United States. Good luck.
Yeah.
More people are going to die. More people and it's just what's going to happen. It's going to be another, the British are coming, and we're going to have another we're going to have another, Battle of Bunker Hill, and it's going to be another Lexington and Concord event. We're going to have that type of situation where you're going to have state National Guard lining up against U.S. military.
Yeah.
And God help us when we get to that point.
And part of our goal is knowing that we can't stop everything that's coming.
Right.
It's preparing ourselves for what's coming. It's preparing yourself and hardening your emotional centers. Like I spent yesterday not talking about the murder for most of the day because I saw the videos once Eric posted them that Evan had sent out of Renee Nicole Good being murdered. We will say her name, and I'm going to continue to find other victims and people if these events happen, and we will say their names too, because it's important to remember we don't even have the perpetrator's name. The ICE officer who shot this woman, shot Renee, they haven't released his name. They get like 72 hours of waiting to build this story and a narrative for themselves. That is illegal as fuck, and we need to be calling that shit out. And it's such a shame that
from a murder scene.
Yeah, and they walked away from a murder scene. Not only did they walk away while I was watching that footage, and like I'm more accustomed to seeing things that are possibly damaging than maybe some people. Like, I've had more experience with that, and it hit home really hard. And then I spent an hour, maybe a little longer, with Zev Shalev last night, breaking down the footage that Donald Trump had released that is propaganda.
Yeah.
They altered
Yeah.
footage that, to
They
make it
ghosted it.
look like the
They
gentleman
added a
who
person in, didn't they? They added in like a body in front of the car.
it's basically what they did was, the look of it was they added in almost an extra set of legs, not even a real person, but the way that the shadow moves doesn't match up to the way that the guy actually moves on the video. They chose to use the grainiest footage that was processed through Rumble, which is a Russian-owned media company that, or like Russian financed or like very influenced, that Trump's his Truth Social has a partnership with, like a very, very expensive one. Like there's insider dealing going on there, but they chose to use the worst footage, the grainiest, so that they could alter it in a way that might be believable to folks who are only going to look at one video.
Yeah.
I looked at it next to the ones with the people who were actually right next to the incident and who were
the raw
filming it.
view. The raw view.
You can see the guy pulling his gun out before she even moves his car or her car, pointing it at her window. He put his hand on the vehicle as it was moving and pointed it an arm's length plus of 9mm away and shot her point blank and executed a woman. No due process. For exercising her First Amendment right to speak and to protest against police and policing forces in a tyrannical government without violence. She was not being violent. Yeah, look at the damn picture. She's so far away, or he's so far away. Her tires were turned so that she could leave. She was stopped initially by another vehicle, which looked like possibly another ICE vehicle that just went in front of her. They were more likely to hit the gentleman that was in the middle of the road than she was. And so she tried to do all the right things, but they blocked her from leaving. Also, breaking news from, thank you, Melissa. And I saw it earlier from someone else in the chat, and I don't remember who. I'm sorry. I did look into it too, is the War Powers resolution has passed or has been advanced to the Senate. And the Senate version has been advanced from what I saw. It was voted on. So the Senate advances War Powers resolution to rein in Trump, blocking further military action in Venezuela. From what I saw. That is so fucking important.
It is. But he doesn't listen to anything.
He doesn't. But
it is important. It is important to be important.
Now that we have, if that advances fully and gets fully passed, what that does is at least set a precedent where Congress is finally doing its job again. Members of Congress are doing their job. And what this could lead to is like what you talked about, is what needs to happen is, if you're not going to do your job, leave immediately, right fucking now. If you have your pension, leave. If you're Nancy Pelosi and you're waiting to retire and then go, get the fuck out. If you're Chuck Schumer, get the fuck out. If you're Hakeem Jeffries, get the fuck out. I want like Jamie Raskin to stay. I want Jared Moskowitz to stay. I want Chris Murphy to stay. I want Jasmine Crockett. I want AOC. I want Melanie Stansberry, Chris Coons. It's weird that I know so many names of congressional members now, but I want folks like my congressional member to fucking retire. So Steve Womack, if you're listening, or if you ever hear any of this, because I'm going to just pester your office going forward.
Fuck you, Jeff Frank.
Like, Steve Womack, fucking retire, man. Just get out. Leave. Nobody wants you there anymore. Arkansas doesn't like you. You're not doing us any favors. You've helped kill farming industry in this state, and you've left in this year alone. Last year alone, Arkansas lost more farmers than they ever have.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like,
then they just got
you are not helping our state. Leave.
Wow.
And
what
Tom Cotton, you can fucking go too. Tom Cotton, John Boozman, please retire. Like, get the fuck out. You guys suck.
Nick, what's the projections on the Arkansas economy because of all the loss of farming? Like, God, has that even like gotten?
I don't even know
that out yet.
I do know the loss. I do know the projections on the loss because of the ACA and the big beautiful bill and all the bullshit bill and all the reductions in medical and food assistance is going to cost the state over $1 billion over the next 5 years.
You guys are probably already hurting.
We're literally the home of Walmart. Like, Walmart's headquarters are almost in my back fucking yard. Walmart is the largest perpetrator of welfare fraud in the nation. Wow. They force their employees basically to live on welfare.
And then spend the money
out of that. Yeah, and I live in the heart of that.
They keep them just below the threshold of 32 hours to be full time.
Yeah. Arkansas
and they get welfare, and
then
those same people just turn around and spend the government benefits at Walmart. It's a fucking monopoly that they have. Those are the Walton family.
Walmart and Dollar General, which are like
shit.
It's the video with the chip. Same thing.
Yeah. Like, we just get low prices, we get no assistance, we get no care. It's this rugged individualism bullshit that people think is how America was founded, or whatever their bullshit ideology on it is. Yeah. That's white nationalism, by the way, folks. This is what we get. Was founded on collective action. The founding fathers says, for all their flaws, we have to admit what they also did well at was they took their collective wealths and their statuses and their lives, and they donated it to the country. They gave it all away. They collected all of their wealth into the pot of which became the U.S. Treasury. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin, they gave their livelihoods and their lives to this cause. Had we not won, they would have been executed as treason from Great Britain. They gave their lives collectively. It even says so in our document that they gathered and collected their wealth for the betterment of the nation. We need that again. And they didn't
die poor men either, by the way, because of that.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I was thinking about that yesterday. Is there used to be this like agreed upon deal with the wealthy, like the super wealthy and the privileged families and the families that were part of like the fabric of this country. And I was thinking about FDR and stuff. They're like, people like that came from big noble families that had a shit ton of money, but they recognized the need for public service and the need to give back and everything. And there were historically families like the Rockefellers and stuff like that. They were wealthy pieces of shit, but they recognized that they needed to give back to society. And they did things like build libraries and build infrastructure that would give back to this country. And there's
the Mellon family, the Carnegies, like those families. I went to Carnegie Mellon University. It was founded as a school it was the Carnegie Institute of Technology and the Mellon Institute for Women, or the Mellon's College for Women for like humanities. They joined forces. They founded a college, a university, one of the new Ivy League schools. That's what they call themselves. They're the same tier, if not better than the old Ivies. Fight me, Harvard. You guys have a lot of shitty people that are coming out of fucking Harvard. And Yale.
And think about how many regular people like you throughout the years that has benefited.
I sang in high school. I sang in high school at the Carnegie Hall in New York, like as part of a choir. From my high school choir, went and sang at the original Carnegie Hall in New York. Like, Carnegie donated, as shitty of a person as he is in a lot of things, he donated a lot of his wealth. The Mellon family nowadays fucking sucks. Like, the child Mellon who donated all that money to fund our troops and try and pay for troops during the government shutdown is a piece of shit. Andrew Mellon, though, who donated all of the stuff and founded the school for girls and women, was not as much of a piece of shit because he gave back to the community. He wanted to uplift women and give them an opportunity for education. And so we have to remember the good and then see the bad and go, we have to learn from this. They don't do that. And it fucking frustrates me so much.
I'm glad we kind of touched on this topic because every major religion in the world, whether it's Judaism, Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam, charity is one of the staple cornerstones of each major dogmatic religion in the world.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible teaches this, the Torah teaches this, the Quran teaches this, I think it's the Daha teaches this in Buddhism, whatever it is, like whatever religion you practice, even if it's being agnostic and you're an atheist, being charitable is being human. It's acknowledging that we always have responsibility. I mean, we're not going to like if you think about like animals, like my two dogs, like if my one dog doesn't want to finish, like he'll let the other dog finish. Like they stop. Animals know this instinctively. Like they know to take care of each other instinctively, right? Of the same breed or whatever, right? Why is this such a difficult concept for humans?
Yeah.
Why is this such a difficult concept for people? We're supposed to be like the most esoterically intelligent life on the planet. Yeah. And I really, really question that sometimes.
Yeah. And I want to get to, somebody said something in the chat real quick, is that Carnegie and Mellon were forced to put their wealth in there. Yes, that was part of the social contract. We are acknowledging that. That's something I advocate for, is charity by force for these billionaires is what it would be. It's you donate everything over what, $100 million or something stupid like that. Like give it a nice number so that they're happy and they can have whatever they want. But after that, 100% of your earnings or under 100% of the value and increase in wealth that you get on that goes to the National Treasury for social services. And guess what? Who gives a shit if they were forced to do it? They ended up doing it, and they did good things because of it, and it helped the social good, and it also made them probably in the end better people because they learned how to start empathizing and doing things, even if they did it for their own goods. It is so easy. We just fucking tax the rich. We used to do it up until like until the 80s.
And we're going to have a huge fucking nepotism problem with all this wealth too. It's going to be horrible when Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and whoever starts to pass away. If we don't tax the shit out of, if we don't
dog
tax
bell
the
going
shit
off
out of that wealth,
dog alarm,
we're going to have spoiled little shits like
we're having it now,
like Don Jr.
or whatever.
We have it now.
Like we have Don Sr. and Don Jr.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Walter.
Well, I was just going to say, I think we need to reprogram our brains so we know that a society that relies on charity to survive is a society that is failing. The society needs to take care of the people that in it, because charity's never enough. They never give enough by design. If we're beholden to them, that's them lording over us, where they're like, we control your lives, be good to us, do what we say. We then become, so we just need to change it to like what Nick says. They're giving up their money. There are limits. We shouldn't have to rely on charity at all.
I want everybody to remember this. Think about where we'd all be speaking either Japanese or German right now if it wasn't for the very serious people in the Roosevelt administration going to the automakers, the engineers, the Mellon family, the Carnegie family, the Ford family, and saying, we don't have any tanks, planes, jeeps, cars, ships, munitions, nothing. We need you to turn on the machinery from building refrigerators to building weaponry to fight the Germans and the Japanese. Imagine where we would be if those guys said, no, we can't do it. We're not going to share our engine. If GM had said, if Chrysler had said, I'm not going to share my engine schematics to Ford to build the Mustang aircraft, where would the Tuskegee Airmen be today? They wouldn't exist, right? If we didn't develop destroyers to sink the U-boats that were off the coast of New York City, okay? There's a U-boat wreckage literally 10 miles off of the coast of Mar-a-Lago where they were listening in when Roosevelt was down here meeting with with Churchill and Stalin, and they were meeting at a restaurant right down here in Pompano Beach. Like, I mean, like, where would we be? And this is the charity part. Like, you can amass wealth, right? But can't take it with you. You can do. But I think we talked about there's 3 types of people with wealth, right? There's the people who are very charitable, give their wealth away, no questions asked. They've got so much of it, they don't know what to do with it. They give it away, right? Then there's the people who are selfish and just hoard it for themselves, but they'll give a little bit here and there, but they'll mostly spend it on themselves, right? And the third type of person is the worst type of people with wealth, and that's they use their wealth to hurt other people. And that is our current sitting president of the United States. He's one of those people.
Mm-hmm. And that's why one of the things I advocate for is a wealth cap, but also a wealth minimum. Because we always talk about we've been partially there before, like in the US in the 50s. The reason the 50s was so vibrant for the US is we had a 90-something% wealth tax for rich folks. Like if that's what they really want, if they want to go back to the 1950s, then we need to have that 90% wealth tax on the rich or higher. And then we need to go the step further, which is the true second Bill of Rights, the true social programs that FDR advocated for and that social democracies have, or democratic socialist countries have. I like social democracy because it's built into the system itself rather than just being a layer on top of it. Is they take care of the system and the people that run the system by giving back to us. Like we amass the wealth and then or somebody else amasses the wealth through our labor because it's still our work. It's not their work. CEOs don't do the work. CEOs just make deals. If anyone ever tells you that the CEO is the most important person in a company, they're fucking stupid. Or they're an executive who wants to be a CEO and just wants to have an ego. The most important people in your company are the ones who don't get any credit for the work that they do, and they work tirelessly and they work relentlessly. Trust me, I know I worked 100 fucking hours a week for 2 straight months to launch a software product, and then I got removed from the team because they shrunk my rollout and they replaced my team, me, with an entirely new team to replace everything that I had done to get their system out and run. And I feel betrayed as shit because on top of all of that, I was bullied into silence for 2.5 years. And you know what?
Want to talk about it, Nick? You need to get it off your chest. It sounds like you got some. You want to talk about it some more? Or?
Sure. I mean, I haven't talked about it in a while. It's the reason I got here on Substack. Is I got fired from a job, and I won't talk about the company itself or name anybody because I'm under contract not to, and I'd like to keep some of the benefits that I got when they left me.
How you feel. You can talk about how it hurt you and how it shaped you today, and like what you're still like resentful over. I mean, this is that space for that too, right?
Yeah. So I worked as a software engineer for 6+ years. I worked at Amazon, where my role was eliminated there too. The week of Thanksgiving.
And this was sorry, I don't mean to cut it. This was directly after you got out of the Army, right, Nick?
No, so after I got out of the Army, I spent time as a truck driver. I did local pickup and delivery truck driving. I did 2 months as a propane truck driver. Worst fucking job ever. Like, God, those guys have shitty jobs. It's like 70 hours a week.
And God
paid really bad. You're going out into the horrendous conditions. But then I went truck driving and I used my GI Bill to get my second degree in computer science. Gotcha. And I ended up getting a apprenticeship through a military apprenticeship program, or like civilian military program with Amazon. That was a federally registered apprenticeship. So I'm actually a journeyman software engineer. Nice. Because I have completed a full registered apprenticeship for that on a federal level. And then I worked at Amazon on the Alexa Health team doing healthcare development for the Alexa systems. I managed the COVID self-checker for the entirety of COVID, and it was daily and or weekly like updates on CDC directives in the US, Canada, Mexico, Brazil, and in multiple languages. So I I fucking sat there with COVID information every day for 2 years. It was so damaging. But I got to work from home, so that was cool.
Yeah.
And then when I lost my job there, or when my job was, our entire division, our entire department of Alexa Health was terminated because it
Jeff
wasn't making
Bezos.
money by. No, it wasn't Bezos. Bezos loved it, Alexa. That was his baby.
Oh, really?
He wanted it to be the computer from Star Trek. That was his
Right.
inspiration. He actually wanted to do something good with it. He didn't care if it made money. He just wanted Alexa to work because he wanted a computer. He wanted that computer from Star Trek. Andy Jaskins, the CEO right now from AWS, only cares about money. And so we had literally beaten all of our goals. But anyway, not that. The Amazon stuff's way in the past. Don't care about that. I ended up lining up with a really nice job at a company that was a startup, and I got to be I was a senior DevOps engineer. So I built the back-end software infrastructure and deployment platforms and collaboration and internal tooling for the entire company. I went from a team of 1 to a team of 5 to a team of 1 the week before we fucking launched our product. And then I worked 100 hours a week for 2 months to support the launch. And the only thing I asked for during that time was another engineer on my team so I could lighten the load. So I could go and be a part of my family outside of work, because I was up, and my wife will tell, like, she fucking hates this, that it happened, is I got up at 6 or 7 in the morning, got my help, get my kids to school. I was angry when I woke up all the time. Every day I was fucking mad, fucking miserable. I would wake up, I would be angry, I was mean. We finally made the agreement that I shouldn't be awake when the kids are getting up in the morning because of that job, because I didn't want to hurt my kids' days. I didn't want to send them to school in a bad mood because I was pissed off, and my wife didn't want to do that either. And we agreed that it was a bad thing. And I was being bullied the entire time while I was at work. None of the work that I was doing, no credit was ever given to me. Like, I did a demo for a really cool update that would have been an internal tool for the team to help. And one of the executives decided during the meeting, during the fucking demo session, which is supposed to be a celebration of work, to go, I don't care about that. That was useless. I was like, dude, go fuck yourself, basically. I came back from a surgery. I had 3 knee surgeries. This person ruined 2.5 years of my life, basically. I had 3 knee surgeries in the course of the time I was working there, in the course of a year and a half. And I developed fibromyalgia during that time. They knew all of this. My manager knew all of this. They eventually fired my manager, and after that, nobody cared. And so I was sort of left on my own, and I did everything that was asked. I advanced the team. I worked really hard, but everything I did was sort of just shuffled under the rug. Like, I never volunteered for demos anymore, because every time I did, this individual had something stupid and nasty to say. Oh, this isn't Amazon. This was a startup. And this person kept stealing work and lying. And eventually they got caught because a woman in my work, who was another executive level, stood up to him. She lost her job because of it, but both of them lost their jobs. And she was okay with that. She knew it was going to happen in the end, and she bit the bullet for the team, because whenever I spoke about it, it was shoveled under the rug. It was said, "No, you're making that up. Are you sure that?" Because that's how, like, I told the CEO of the company, who was my direct supervisor for a year, you weren't present. And he got mad about it. And I was like, but you weren't present as a manager. You didn't provide me management. You didn't provide direction. You left me on my fucking own, and then let this asshole ruin it for everybody and lie. And then you're telling me, because I called you out on one thing, that maybe the reason this guy is so rude is because you talk like this. Bro, don't fucking victim shame me for coming to you and telling you that I've been bullied the shit out of by this guy and you're going to sweep it under the rug. I'm still so fucking mad at this because all I wanted was another person on my team. I had 5 people on my team. One got bullied and pushed out. The other left because of the other executive who was a shitbag. One of them left also because the executive was a shitbag. The other one literally quit right after a meeting with that executive who was a shitbag. If one person is the fucking problem, maybe that person needs to be removed and not everything else.
So I have another piece of breaking news that just hit. It happened right before we went on show that the Washington Post actually went on record to specifically state that the ICE agent was not in the path of the vehicle when he fired.
All right.
He needs to go to fucking jail. And so do
Oh,
all
they need
the
to arrest
accomplices to that. Yeah,
That's-
all the
that's
accomplices to
secondary
that murder
manslaughter.
need to be
Oh,
arrested.
God.
Secondary manslaughter or secondary, secondary
was
murder.
saying-
secondary
And
homicide.
they prevented a doctor from providing aid
Yeah.
to the woman, which is a human rights violation. You
Mhm.
have to allow aid to be provided to somebody who is seriously injured
Yeah.
and wounded.
That's
don't
another murder
get
count.
to-
That's an
you
addition.
don't-
It's an addition to
you
the
don't
shooting.
get to just go, nope, you can't provide aid. We want this woman to suffer and die, is what they said.
So
Yeah.
here's the question, guys. And from your other perspectives, you guys are the writers, right? I'm the healthcare professional worried about how everybody feels about all this. But like, is this finally the tipping point? Is this the straw that broke the camel's back? Is
I
this
fucking hope
or
so.
we got more? I mean, I hope so. I think we need to, but I mean,
It's got the potential to
What
be.
do you guys
I'd say it has the potential, but we got to keep hammering this narrative because they
is this,
own the.
is this
they own
finally the
propaganda.
plutonium? Them killing a white woman? Is that what it took? Finally, I mean,
Well,
is
they
that-
have the distribution mechanism for the whole media, so we have to confront their propaganda, and
Yeah.
we have to keep talking. It's so important. All the supporters here. I want to add, my wife got home too, so I'm a little bit.
Oh,
I feel
good.
a little bit better. She came
Good.
home early. It was a relief.
Good.
nice and
It was
safe.
really
Give her a
for
big
me.
hug and a kiss from everybody.
No, it's not a
Love
happy
your
voice in
family,
here. I
love
feel better.
everyone.
So at least
It's-
tonight I get to still have my family. Who knows about tomorrow? But I'm just
It'll show.
fuck. I'm just living day
Boom.
to day.
I'm on the PC. It doesn't do that. So
I think
And-
we have to overcome the narrative. I think that's
Yes.
the only way because George Floyd wasn't the tipping point. We see what the mainstream media does when they get
Yeah.
control of that narrative and when they buy into what the regime's saying. Instead of replaying that video all night and judging those talking points that they were coming out with, even MSNBC was playing Kristi Noem's fucking press conference yesterday, and that's a frustrating thing, and that's why it's so important that we call it out.
Stupid cowboy hat.
And
Yeah.
one of the things that I was saying last night is these fucking ICE agents, they're so untrained, and how do we have higher standards for an 18-year-old kid that the government is willing to send to war if you accidentally fire a blank round during a training exercise in the Army? You can lose rank, you can lose pay, you get an Article 15 for that, and they'll put you on extra duty for 45 fucking days where you're scrubbing toilets and shit with a toothbrush until midnight every night and waking up the next morning and going to PT and working all day and doing that shit, and you get bumped down to E1 and you're making no fucking money. All of that just for firing a blank on accident, for misplacing your weapon during a training exercise. This asshole yesterday shoots somebody in the fucking face
3 times.
no
Shoots her
training or
3
anything.
fucks times.
And
Three
he's
shots,
having
3
beers with
seconds,
the
3 feet.
boys at the hotel afterward. And there's no accountability. And we still don't know who the fuck he is. And the mainstream media hasn't driven that point home at all. They've named Renee Good and everything, and they're doing memorials and stuff. And that's all great, but the public can handle the fucking memorials. We can handle remembering Renee Good and carrying on her memory and everything. The public can do that. What the media needs to do is find out who the fuck this guy is and put the heat on ICE and everything. That's what the media needs to be doing.
I think the Congress, the next step after that hopefully the Senate will pass this war powers resolution and make it veto proof, they need to pass an unmasking law.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
We can't
exactly.
have that. Yep.
Yeah, and we have a part of Banner and Backbone has a website called safedc.info, which has a link to at least a petition for unmasking ICE and demasking law or unmasking law enforcement. So I'll drop it in the chat. I'll also put it into the show notes for today. Is safedc.info. Thanks, Melissa. Melissa Corrigan and I are making sure that these things stay. It's a big thing that we have in all of our show notes for like Banner and Backbone is the link to safedc.info. I know there's a corresponding one out of Canada that links directly to ours as well, from a friend of the show and friend of the chat. So
yes, thank you, Melissa, for everything you've done too.
Yeah,
and everybody else with all of this. Walter, you're writing. I mean, everybody that I follow, that I subscribe to, you guys have been just the warriors and all this stuff. And it's just, and as a subscriber, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I know that the other people in the chat who every day, Courtney and Kat and Sushi and Lefty and everybody else that's part of this whole community that we have. This is just another thing. It's another way for us to fight. And we all have to find our way to fight back, right? I mean, like, I'm not one to go to a protest, but I can do that here. You know, I can make my voice here. I can, make a difference with my patients, and I can make, and do what I can do here, but we need a lot of activation. Everybody needs to wake up. And I hope that through her death that we martyrize her to the point where she becomes the beacon of hope.
Yeah.
That we can turn her death into something so positive. And everybody that's died under ICE, the people that are even unnamed, the millions of immigrants who they've taken illegally, who we don't even know what happened to them down here in Florida and El Salvador and wherever else they sent them to God knows where, all the unnamed people that have died because of this administration, and plus all the people around the world that have died because of USAID. I mean, how much blood is on this administration's hands? It's just it shouldn't be this way, and we need to change it.
Yeah, and I'll wait to announce anything about the shooter's name until it's confirmed. If this individual is the shooter. One of the things I am reading, though, about whoever this individual was, is that they're saying they were an experienced ICE officer.
Whatever that means.
They have either been in ICE for a while and have gone through the old training. And
like this isn't one of the Proud Boys or something they pulled off the street.
Yeah, which means this person did it intentionally. Regressed from the training they probably received, and went backwards to a time
and adopted that new culture
and adopted the new culture of violence rather than upholding the culture, any other culture, and that's fucking awful. I think we're gonna have to, I think, leave it here too on this point, and I'll let you close it up, is because it's right at the half-hour mark, and I've got another show to get to in half an hour, and I need to take a quick break today.
At some point.
I just want to quickly say it's really up to us, because this regime is going to try to smear Renee Nicole Good, her good name. They're going to try to smear her. They've already called her a terrorist. They've lied, and we have to hold everybody in our sphere accountable. Say, hell no, she was an innocent person. She was she's defending the Constitution. She was defending your right to speak, your right to live without fear. And we got to be forceful about this, because that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to demonize her to cover their asses. That's what's going to happen. They're going to pivot like they always do. They're going to look for dirt on her in the past. They're going to say all these horrible things. It's up to us to defend her. We have to defend her now that she has passed on. I mean, there's still a lot to defend, and it's just now that she's murdered. We have to
one quick thing that I think that we can do is to kind of make her more relatable is share that picture of the fucking stuffed animals coming out of her glove box.
Yeah,
because that was the most heartbreaking thing, is because if you share that, every mom can picture them driving their kid to school or something and being stressed out, and their kids playing in the back seat and they don't know what to do, and they just reach over for a stuffy out of the glove box to keep the kid entertained. And that was the most heartbreaking thing that I saw yesterday. Is this is just a mom, you know what I mean? A mom trying to protect her community, and there's so many other moms out there that are probably doing the same thing. And I think that if we share that and remember that it'll help make this the moment that it needs to be.
And thank you to all the moms out there.
Yeah.
Every day is Mother's Day.
Absolutely.
Except for Father's Day. We get one day. That's it.
Yeah, we need one.
That's about right.
And to answer the question, there was a question in the chat as my final thought on this is, what can we do for action? Is I'm going to work with the Centered America team to see if I can, and if we can help propose real federal legislation, simple single item legislation on either a federal or state level that any state or federal group could adopt of unmasked ICE. And that's basically is unmasked federal law enforcement, unless there's a specific requirement for it, which is basically never. Unless they're required to wear a mask for like chemical interference and things like that, or for their own medical safety, they shouldn't be allowed to wear them. I think what we can do is we can write legislation and put it in front of Congress and force both the Democrats to be for something and for the Republicans to show what they are against, and to see which Democrats are against common sense. And then we vote them out.
I'd love to work with you on something like that.
I helped to write healthcare policy, so
let's all talk to
put some thoughts together on a policy proposal and stuff and send it over to you.
Awesome, yeah, and I'll bring you guys all into a chat with Senator America, with Sheridan, Gavin too, and we can have some conversations there offline. And they're working alongside Divisible or Indivisible right now and supporting them and getting like information out, and so we're going to be intentionally doing a lot of that work in the Window of Discussion show. Eric, I may invite you to that one too for at least a couple shows to talk about some stuff and policy info. And Walter, I think you have something that normally goes on during that episode on Wednesday mornings, but I'll extend an invite to you too. We lost your sound.
He's muted. Walter finally got muted.
There, he's back. All right, guys.
Bye.
And let's get you out of here, Nick. You got
south
yeah, me too.
Thanks everyone in the chat for being with us. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, everybody.
Love you guys. Thank you.
We'll see you guys. We'll see everyone in 2 weeks. We're doing this every other week right now. And we'll see if we want to do it more, less, see how everyone likes it. But we'll see y'all in 2 weeks.
Everybody stay safe, take care of your neighbors, and take care of your families.
Yeah. All right. Thanks,
all
y'all.
right, bye guys.
Bye guys.